Hey, hello everybody, this is Purge, bringing you guys a replay commentary. Going to be doing a Legion Commander game. We can hop into the Dota buff. That was cool. Alright, first things first, Legion Commander was buffed very slightly, moderately in the last patch. Base damage increased by 4. Overwhelming odds is the first skill that Legion has. It's buffed by a 3-second cooldown reduction. Press the attack, the second spell, the cast time is reduced by 0.1 seconds, which is definitely noticeable. And a very small quality of life change for Legion Commander's ultimate, so not super big there. If we take a look at the hero, the win rate has jumped by about 2%, or it's about a 1.5%. As of 6.85, which is pretty good. And the hero's actually really popular right now, 13th overall in popularity. For some reason, just really popular hero. The pick rate's very high. She's in almost 1/5 of all games, which is pretty surprising to me. But her lanes are kind of all over the place. Offlane, yeah, I think she's alright as an offlane hero. She's okay as a mid hero, I think, as well. But as you can see, she kind of fits everywhere. The jungle, it's the lowest win rate, and that's because jungling Legion Commander is generally awful. The most popular skill build, this is absolutely awful. The best skill to max first is actually overwhelming odds because it gives you a gank presence, and it also helps you farm a little bit faster because it does AoE damage. And the cooldown went down by 3 seconds, which is kind of nice as well. When you cast this, it does damage based on how many units or heroes are in the group, and it makes you run faster afterwards. It also does bonus damage to illusions. In most cases, it one-shots them, so it's a very good counter against heroes like Naga Siren, against Terrorblade, against Phantom Lancer. It's pretty good against all those heroes, because it basically helps you figure out which one's the real one, and then you can duel the right target. So that's one of the reasons that the ability does more to illusions, because otherwise your hero would be a little bit countered by illusion-based heroes. Your second skill, it heals yourself or an ally over time for up to 5 seconds. So at level 1 that heals 150, at level 4 that heals 300 HP. And also it'll remove debuffs from your allies, whether most debuffs at least, like stuns and things like that, you can press the attack to remove those from your allies. So the ability is very good for that as well. The mana cost on this went down recently. I feel like it used to be higher. Maybe I'm wrong. And they also changed the way Moment of Courage works now. The counterattack chance is much higher. It's at 25%, so 1 out of 4 attacks will give you an extra counterattack. So if you're within melee range of something, you'll automatically hit it really fast no matter where you are in your attack animation. And the only difference is that the cooldown changes massively and the lifesteal changes slightly. So it's 50% lifesteal, 55% lifesteal at level 1, and the cooldown is 2.7 seconds with the first skill point, and the fourth skill point goes all the way down to 0.9 seconds. So basically, if you're trading hits with somebody a lot, hypothetically it might be better to have more levels of Moment and Courage, but it's just genuinely not worth it in my opinion. I think it's much better to just go for the max overwhelming odds. That way you can actually nuke and do a little bit more damage in the early game, and then you level up press the attack to get bonus attack speed. I forgot about the attack speed increase that it gives you. Usually you want to cast this before you duel, that way you attack faster and usually kill them. And obviously Moment of Courage is a good skill, but I pretty much don't recommend leveling this up past maybe 1 or 2 in the early game, because the other skill points are simply better. Your right clicks are not that strong. Even if you're jungling, it's not worth getting lots of levels to this, because most of the time it's only 2 creeps hitting you, maybe 3, so you don't proc it that often. And then the way duel works is you basically force your opponent to attack you for up to 4 to 5.5 seconds, and if you kill them during the duel duration, you or another ally that's doing damage to them, then you get bonus damage. So, and the bonus damage is permanent, so you can kind of transition. The nicest thing about duel basically is that it's a very long duration, so it's good against heroes that get away very easily, such as like Slurk is a good example, anti-mage, stuff like that, people that don't want to stand still for 4 seconds attacking an opponent. So you can abuse duel by getting a blade mail, which basically forces your opponents to attack you back, which means that you do bonus damage during the duel and give you a better chance of getting a kill in fights. So that's basically the cool thing about duel. Blink is pretty much the most important item that you should have, just because it helps you initiate on your opponents and forces them to attack you by using duel. If you're running up, they oftentimes can use Shadow Blade or blink away or stun you before you get there, things like that. So it's usually not worth doing that. Power Treads are good. I think Phase is pretty good now too, because getting in melee ranges is important. So using Phase to get that little bit of a distance jump is really important. Desolator is an okay choice because you can kill your opponents a little bit faster. BKB is really good. Armlet's not bad either because it's so stupidly cheap for the damage increase that you get out of it, and you get lifesteal naturally with your Moment of Courage, so the HP loss that you get from it is not that big of a deal. Soul Curse is fantastic, makes you attack faster, makes them die faster. Shadow Blade's another option over Blink Dagger, but I really feel like Blink is by far the better choice. And Skull Basher is also something you can buy just to bash people. These other things are on the top 10 most used items, most likely because a lot of Legion commanders will jungle AFK and then they will lose the game at a fairly early point in the game, because when you're jungling, it basically creates lane pressure on the other lanes and doesn't help you relieve that pressure because you're spending all your time auto-attacking creeps. Heroes are good against, there it is, anti-mage. Heroes that basically get away very easily, he's good against them because he does such a long duration disable. Anti-mage, Broodmother, Ember Spirit. Venomancer is weak because you can very easily just remove his slows using press the attack. You can't debuff his ultimate, but you can remove Gale. Phoenix, same thing, can't egg. Terrorblade, you can nuke his illusions and kill him directly. And a lot of these heroes, not huge advantage percentages, but decent enough, and you can kind of understand why he's good against them. Here's your bad against is definitely Oracle, because Oracle can basically make a hero not die while you're dueling them, so it limits your duel damage. Winter Wyvern can cast, basically make the person you're dueling invulnerable to physical damage, which is a huge issue. Troll Warlord will oftentimes just beat you in a 1v1 because he'll bash you and do more damage. Shadow Demon can disrupt whoever you're dueling. Isle can relocate them out. Dazzle can grave them. Magnus, I'm not sure why that one's there. Damage and stuns and power, I guess. And Templar Assassin is almost always going to beat you in a 1v1, so that one kind of makes sense as well. So a lot of these things make sense. Really good strength gain, mediocre agility gain, and pretty good int gain. Your movement speed is really good at 320, and your armor is pretty bad, and your base damage is really high, especially because it just got buffed. So that's pretty much all you'll need to know about Legion Commander. I'll talk about items when we get into the game, because we have a lot of time to talk about that. Oh, only the other thing I'm missing is myself playing Legion Commander. Go to heroes. I've played like not that many Legion Commander games. Close your eyes. Oops. I want to go to Purge and then go to heroes. Legion, where are you? Oh, just found her. 12 games, 58% win rate. It's alright. Not bad. Alright, so with that said, let's close this window, hop into the game, and we will resume now. Okay, so this one's a bit long, so I might speed up a little bit. I think I randomed playing with a couple friends. Just knew we were a 3-party, I believe, and we had a 2-party that we did not know.
Phantom Assassin.
But Legion this game is good against Slark, okay against Mirana, pretty good against Lina, I feel. Not the best against Doom, but it's alright.
Prepare for battle.
And I think I ended up jungling this game. And so I was going to go mid, I think, but then I changed my mind again. Ring of Protection, no.
30 seconds.
Orb of Venom, no. Quelling. Alright, so I'm going to teach you guys how to jungle a little bit better with this game, hopefully. You don't really want to jungle when you're playing Legion Commander. And there's a lot of other melee heroes that you can jungle on, but you don't want to jungle on. But if you do end up jungling with them, at least they'll teach you how to do it correctly. So we'll talk a lot about jungle efficiency here. And it's really important, because if your jungle efficiency is bad, it means that your levels come slower, and then everything else in the game comes a lot slower. First things first, you need a Quelling Blade, you need a Stout Shield. I got to cheat a little bit because I randomed, so I had a salve as well. But any extra regen will definitely help. But the most important things by far are the Quelling Blade, because the Quelling Blade means that you do more damage with every hit to your neutral creeps. I'll grab my passive at level 1 because it's going to increase my DPS. I was hoping for a medium-sized camp. Something like, for example, a Satyr camp is good. The Centaur camps are not ideal. But what I'm basically doing here is I'm doing choke point jungling. What you do is you cut a hole in the trees, and then you make it so that only one thing can attack you at a time. And this drastically reduces the damage that you're taking. What I actually kind of wanted to do was ideally pull back the medium camp here and stack it before the minute mark. I think I did it about here, but I was a little bit late. I should have done that like a second earlier, and I could have pulled it to the right to stack it, and it would have been fine. But I kind of have unideal camps. I already messed up on efficiency. I'll pause the game just for a second. Basically, you get your efficiency by always farming, by always auto-attacking, by never going back to base. And if you do that perfectly, then you're getting more golden experience. I already messed up because what I should have done is I should have pulled that creep wave right and then killed that small centaur and then immediately started on the medium jungle. If I would have done that, I would have saved time that I spent from walking from the medium camp to the large camp here. And I'm also forcing myself to fight a large camp, and a large camp is really hard to kill. So I tried to like choke point jungle over here, and I didn't quite know where to do it. I think you're supposed to maybe do it on this tree instead. or something like that. But I could be getting a better choke point jungle going on here. But anyways, I'm missing a lot of HP, so I'm going to use press the attack. That again will heal me for 120, 30, 60, 90. Oh no, it's 150. That's actually a lot of survivability. 150 HP from press the attack, and I attack a little bit faster. So you can use that occasionally in the early game because it's going to slightly increase your efficiency. And during this entire period of time, I'm not really going to be using my mana anyway, so this is completely fine. I'm shifting over to the small camp. This may be a mistake because I could have gone for the medium camp instead. Also, it kind of dicks over my team, but I was kind of upset about all the really bad picks that we had, so whatever. But you probably shouldn't go to the small camp. What I should have probably done was gone to the medium camp, stack that. But it was a centaur, and a centaur was already doing a lot of damage to me in the first place, so I felt like I should probably not do... probably shouldn't attack a centaur, because he's going to be able to out-DPS my basic lifesteal, pretty much. Because every time I do get that proc, I'm healing for 50, which is pretty good, but it only does so much. Now I got a satyr camp. This is really good to have. I should probably choke point jungle these, but I didn't. Wasn't quite sure why the Nyx shifted over to help me out, but it's not that big of a deal. He's basically splitting the experience with me, but I'm still getting gold, which is good for me. I don't know if he leveled up or not. If he got a level out of that, I think that's pretty good, but I don't quite know if he did. Again, centaurs aren't exactly what you want, but you can take them out. This would be a good time to probably press the attack, I feel. I did it. So I get an extra attack or two, I get about 150 HP, and I will slowly kill my centaur camps. So, yeah, as you can see, the cooldown is much higher on Moment of Courage, but the lifesteal you get from it is a lot better, so you can actually jungle quite a bit better this way than you could before. And pretty much the goal when you're doing jungling Legion Commander is to get a Midas as fast as possible. There are other builds you can do. You can go something like a Blink Dagger, for example, but in most cases when you're AFK jungling, whether that's with like Lone Druid or Legion Commander or Lifesteal or something like that, you're usually just trying to get your items as fast as possible so that you can catch up afterwards. Now, the best way to beat jungling heroes like this, if somebody's just AFK jungling like I am, the best way to beat them is basically just to roam around on them. The bottom should look at the map and say, like, where's Legion Commander? Should immediately realize that Legion Commander is therefore just AFK jungling and see if you can get the kill. I really wanted to kill the Pudge here, but unfortunately, I would have gotten the kill if the Mirana was standing next to him, because it would have done 65 more damage. And he probably would have died there. No, I'm sorry, 35 more damage. Maybe he wouldn't have died. Kind of hard to say. And I've also come out of the jungle now to take mid experience because the Phantom Assassin is gone. When PA comes back, I'm going to leave the jungle again, but until then, I'll sit mid and grab as many last hits and experience as I can. Because she probably wouldn't have been here for those anyways, so I didn't really ruin a whole lot by being there. And occasionally doing that is important because it's just being efficient on the map. Same thing if I'm sitting over close to the safe lane and the safe lane's not there, then I should shift over to the safe lane instead. Because the gold you get from every last hit is, you know, pretty close to what you're getting out of a typical camp. I'm going to stack this up. Oh, I'm actually a little bit late. I'm supposed to do a 55, but I did a 53. Luckily I stayed within their sphere of influence, so the stack I think still goes through. And it does. I got a mud golem. Now again, I'm probably going to want to choke point jungle this one, because there's just a couple too many creeps here. And again, the goal of stacking is so that I don't have to walk from camp to camp. Because even if I am only saving about 5 or 6 seconds, it still increases my farming speed, definitely. And increasing the farming speed is the most important thing. If you're farming inefficiently, your 6 is going to come late, and that'll affect a lot of stuff. Just kind of watching my team die. It was pretty fun. I felt kind of bad because all my other lanes were getting really pressured and I wasn't really doing anything about it, but that's Jungle Legion Commander, guys. And there you go. See, float a little bit to the right and you can kill a little bit of a stack. I also decided to use overwhelming odds just because it's going to kill them all a lot faster. I probably could have brought my Gloves of Haste early, actually, now that I think about it. I didn't think about this while I was playing, but bringing Gloves of Haste to you, if you are actually going for a Midas, is probably just good to do, because you're increasing your farming speed by 20. It's a pretty big damage upgrade when you're talking about a Quelling Blade. Oh, you do bonus damage to summons as well, I think. Illusions and summoned units, so it's really good. Pretty much one-shot skeletons, and boom, there's my Midas. So I got a Midas at 642, which is pretty much AFK. I got a little bit of gold in the mid lane. It's kind of unfortunate that the courier was being used at the same time, so I got my Midas a little bit later, but considering the fact that I was gimping my allies by jungling, this wasn't that big of a deal, I don't think. So now that you have Midas, you should be able to get your boots very fast afterwards, and at this point I'm pretty much happy with my survivability and my levels at this point. I'm pretty much at a position where I could gank and do whatever. Oh, I should have been moving this whole time.
Visible.
Oh, that was close. So now I transition into a regular game. So now that we know about how to do jungling, AFK jungling, I don't really recommend it. It definitely hurts your team. It's very frustrating if you're the other members of your team. If you have other lanes that aren't very strong and people are being like aggressively dual laned or something, then I really recommend shifting over to gank. You can even do that with something as simple as like an Orb of Venom or something like that. So now what I would normally do in this position, I have to get boots, because if I don't have boots, there's a low chance that I'll be able to get in melee range to cast duel. Once I have boots, I'll probably, ideally you would like to grab a smoke and use that smoke to go get a gank in a different lane. Again, max overwhelming odds as soon as possible so you can contribute to fights a little bit easier. And I'm just going to finish jungling while I wait for my boots to come. As soon as I did this, I felt a little regretful because I used a lot of my mana and I knew that I was about to gank. So this may be a mistake for me to use overwhelming odds there, but either way it is going to help me get a kill. Always hit before you stun, if you can, because it's just going to give you a little bit more damage. Luckily I was able to be fed a duel there, didn't have to do any ganking at all. If the Purge would have ultied there, I would have casted press the attack. Get a pretty easy kill. I'm blocking him quite a lot. Give him a little bit of heal. I was checking to see if I needed to follow up heal him. I probably should hit the Doom a little bit more there. Could have done a lot more damage, but either way we kept the PA alive, which felt good. Always Midas big creeps as well, because the main reason you buy Midas is you can catch up a little bit, increase your farm speed, increase your experience gain. Always use it on the highest level creeps or the biggest creeps. If you click on creeps, you can see what levels they are. You may not know this, but if I click on the creeps, this one's level 4, this one's level 2. If you look at lane creeps, little ones are level 2, the range creeps are 2, and the melee creeps are 3. So I think those give the same amount of experience as the lane creeps as much as the neutrals, but I might be slightly wrong on that. At the very least, the large creeps give the most, so I would use it on things like Centaurs, level 5. Dark Trolls are level 6 actually, so they should... I don't remember if they give more or not. They've been adjusting those values a little bit recently in the last patches, so I might be slightly wrong on those numbers, but... Pulled these creeps back. I don't really want to auto-attack them all the way down, because this is a really dangerous camp with the Alpha Wolves, but... This was unfortunate. Pretty much nothing I could do here. I could have bought, actually, is what I could have done. And because I died, before I probably would have said, I'll just get a fast Blink Dagger, but usually when I die, I'm basically like, screw it, I'm just going to buy an item. And in this case, I went for Phase Boots and a Smoke. Luckily, the Lina did die there. That felt good. But I should definitely go set up a kill somewhere. And I think I told our Darks here that I wanted a gank bot. This is a pretty good lane to gank. Ganking a Slark is pretty good to do. Alright, so I used to have trouble playing Legion Commander, and then I got a lot better at ganking. That was unfortunate. So basically getting good at ganking is pretty much what it takes to be decent at Legion. It's really important. once you kind of figure out how to set up ganks correctly, or to not reveal the fact that you're about to gank, it improves your game a lot. I got a second level of... I was a little greedy to cast that much, but that was close. Got a random Doom, he just kind of ran next to me. But ganking is really important, being able to gank well. The important thing that I did is I TP'd the lane right away, because I didn't want to walk all the way there and then delay and give the chance that he might not be there anymore by the time I get there. And then I also immediately go to the tree line. Because if you run straight up the lane, anybody that's good is going to see you coming and they're going to run away. And then you're not going to be able to get in melee range to cast duel, unless you have a blink dagger. That was pretty bad. I forgot about that. That one was pretty bad. Lina was so close to getting killed though. Yeah, it's a pretty bad nuke if it just hits one person. Does 160 plus 65. So that's like 225 damage. Really bad. That's right. Our PA was just kind of really bad all early game. Although he did get rummed on by Mirana. It was a really good arrow, definitely. Seems like a good place to fight. I really like the Darkseer and Legion Commander combo. It's really good. It gives me a big damage increase. I popped a smoke so I can maybe get around my opponents. Smokes are really good to do. Our Nyx missed his stun, but that was alright because... Ooh, that was scary. That was okay because the gust ended up disabling her anyways, so... Back into the jungle to Midas. Starting to do some really good damage. Now my duel gives me 14 per duel instead. Kind of looked like stuff was going on mid, so I kind of wanted to stay in the area. Although I probably should have gone in the medium camp. I don't really like the pathing that I took to get here. Oh, that's right. I knew that somebody would be over there. I tried to duel him here, but I was not able to, unfortunately. But I did get that. Give him a little bit of heal.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Looks like I think Nyx got that one. Maybe? No, I'm not sure. Probably shouldn't have bothered going to the rune there. Could have started on the ancient a little bit faster. I think the reason I shifted from the jungle there was because I saw Purge go north, so I was going to run into them to fight them because I felt pretty strong at this point. Even if my survivability isn't really high, having both the phase boots and the damage bonus is great. Because again, every time that I proc Moment of Courage, I'll get a free hit in. So I kind of do good damage right now. I hit quite hard, especially with the Quelling Blade. Not that obviously it doesn't work versus heroes, but... I also killed the large camp before it respawns. I maybe should have just stayed and done it again, but with my Midas coming back off, I needed to go Midas something. And because I didn't want to run all the way over here to where these camps were mostly dead, I was like, why don't I just run into their camps instead? Run into their jungle. The Frost Ogre is a higher level than these ones, so I believe it should give more experience. So I shifted over here to do this. So I'm basically making decisions based on where I think my opponents are, where I'm maximizing my farm, and where I can potentially gank. And being able to balance these things is basically how you be good at a ganking hero. Especially a farming ganking hero. Like, farming ganking heroes like Legion Commander are a little harder to play due to that. This is definitely team fight. Good for me. And then I messed up and used all my mana. I think I dueled him here. Okay, that was alright. That looked really bad to me leading up. And I wasted all my mana as well. When I jumped in, I maybe could have just dueled the... like the Lina or the Mirana. But it still was fine. It still worked out okay. Back into the jungle. Farming aggressively is really important too when you're playing a farming and ganking hero, because instead of just spending your time farming your jungle and then teleporting a lane to gank, now I'm really, really close to all ganks. Except for that one, of course. I can't go mid now because I'd have to TP. If I was farming my jungle, I'd be close to that, but I wasn't really expecting them to dive here. This is also maybe a mistake to come forward. Didn't really want to stay that close to the Doom here. And we also had the Purge coming to the right. Seemed pretty clear that they had vision of me. This was pretty funny. I really felt in tune with this game here, because I was like, he's gonna hook me right now, and then I just walked to the right. It was good.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
But my bonus damage is pretty good at this point. It's really, really good. I've gotten like 4 duels, I think. 30, 45. 4 duels? 5 duels? 5 duels. 3 level 1 duels and 2 level 2 duels. What did I buy now? It should be an Ogre Club, I think. I think I rushed BK. Oh, no, Blade Mail, I think, was the goal. Blade Mail is just so good on Legion Commander, especially against a hero like Slark, for example. He'll do a lot of damage to me in a right-click war, so as long as I turn on Blade Mail before I duel him, it basically does damage based on what his items are. It's like irrelevant what my items are. That's why Blade Mail is just so good on the hero. So I'm basically surging down here because I see that Doom has like no HP. So I was telling the Darkseer to surge me and give me the Iron Shell. I couldn't believe that he farmed down here for so long, but it was a little bit overkill for me to use overwhelming odds yet. But if you feel fine doing that mechanically, like if you're capable of not messing up those hotkeys, then you should definitely do it, because the damage I did was much higher. The only downside was that I killed the creeps, and the creeps would have allowed me to proc more levels of Moment of Courage, but that's still a chance-based kind of thing. And it also, by killing the creeps, it lowers my chance of misclicking duel. I don't think you can click it on creeps anyways, but you know, you never know. It's still worth it in most cases just to do the bonus damage.
Money to burn.
Again, it seemed like there was just tons of people mid, so I was aiming to cut them off.
Tower is under attack.
This gets dangerous though, because their whole team is alive and we have a bunch of dead heroes. You know what? I remember this moment. Oh yeah, I went on the Doom instead. This was a mistake. And then I was basically like, alright, I messed up. And then I bought a Blade Mill. I should have gone, if I went on the Lina or the Mirana, they would have died 100%. But the Doom is actually fairly tanky. If we look at his items. Yeah, Ogre Club, he had a Ring of Basilius. Lina has pretty much nothing survivability, and neither does Mirana. I should have dueled one of them instead. That would have been much better. So that was a pretty big throwaway.
Dire's middle tower, Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I definitely panicked a lot when I would jump in and duel, and when you're playing a hero like Legion, you have to make decisions very, very rapidly during the team fights to be like, is it actually safe to duel in this circumstance? Now, because I'm playing a ganking hero, I'll immediately go to farm in the aggressive place again, teleport to the safe lane, or their safe lane, move into their jungle, and start jungling. That way, as they show up, I'm ready to farm. Should Midas that. Yeah, blink, grab the haste, and then look for a duel in the mid lane. This is a little unfortunate because we didn't have detection, I believe. I don't think anybody had detection, actually. I think I told my teammates to back up. Oh, there's Lina. I saw Lina run to the right. This is a pretty big mistake. Well, luckily he just attacked through my Blade Mill, so I ended up killing him anyways. I really didn't gank very well here. What I should have done, I should have seen the Lina run to the right. And I should have anticipated that, maybe blinked aggressively. It's pretty hard because she had Yules, but... that was a good blink. They have I was pretty surprised that he fought that.
Look away.
Nice deny. I got a lot of dual damage, really, but I kind of messed up a lot earlier. My KDA was not very good. Like, I really do have a lot of dual damage, though. And I am farming items, but... feel like my net worth is probably good this game. Yeah, I'm way up there, but I didn't blade mill. A little mistake. But I got damage again. Midas those catapults. Figure out you could do that now. My blade mill did like work that fight actually.
The Legion is grateful. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I like using illusions to scout. I just spread them out a little bit. Got attacking neutral creeps. Somebody is really bad at like clearing camps after they Midas. Again, really important to use illusions to scout since I'm looking for initiation opportunities. Pretty easy duel there. This is basically what should be happening in the entire game. Is that I find it's oftentimes like the biggest problem. Like one of the reasons that I lose a lot is because people aren't on the same page. People don't like do the same task. It's basically like every single person on your team will do something different. Like all of them might want, like you could have like 3 ganking heroes on a team and 3 heroes that want to gank, but they never coordinate it with other allies. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that you can have, I think. This is a really bad place to position my camera. I should be positioned more south. The Slark was invisible there. But people need to be on the same page. Like with Nyx and I, we can easily kill any hero. If it was just me, I can't necessarily solo kill the Purge just with the duel. But having the extra Nyx damage really helps out a lot. So just coordinating little things like that makes a big difference. So look at the blade mill. That was great. I was a little surprised that I could kill him, but at this point I just said, you know what, I'm doomed, I don't even care anymore. And I just hit him. Because I already hit for like 170 damage or something like that, and just recognizing that is really important. Man, if he just would have reflected that damage, it would have been so good. That was so close. Basically, if I went to proc Moment of Courage there on his last hit, I would have died and he would have killed me and gotten the double. That was so big that I didn't die there. And I'm healing up every time I Moment of Courage for like 250, 260 on neutrals. It's so good. I'm kind of out of control at this point. Now my net worth is like way higher than theirs. Again, using Midas on the big creeps. Bought a BKB as well. The Pudge actually did a really good job there. I maybe should have saved my blade mail until the last bit. Like, I was already reflecting because he had Rod on. It might have been better to wait to blade mail until right after that ended, because then it would have reflected the maximum amount of damage. I forgot to blade mail here, but it doesn't really matter because I just hit so hard. That looked bad. Completely. I pretty much can't do a whole lot until I get duel again. So quelling finally. This should be my BKB on the way. I think we saw him walk in there, I can't remember. Because we knew he was in there, I believe. I feel like if players, my opponents knew me better, they would just always know where I am. Because I literally just farm these 3 camps all the time. That's pretty much all I do. I farm these camps and then look for kills. Slark is top. think kind of seemed like he had an eggs or something because this lasted forever. Oh, I messed up the duel there. Oh, that was a huge mistake. I messed up pretty bad there. If I just would have dueled her, then I would have gotten damage. She would have died instantly. I was probably still going to die there. But I think that was a pretty big mistake. I also could have just BKB'd as I blinked against her, because my HP is pretty low. It's kind of dangerous. I don't think she has eggs or anything like that. Yeah, she doesn't, but if I just would have dueled her, or I could have blinked a little bit more directly, because I knew where she was standing. I blinked past her, and then I had to turn around to duel. If I would have blinked closer to her, like, it's not about, like, I basically had I blinked poorly because I blinked past and then had to turn, which gives her a chance to either Euls herself or Euls me. So that was a pretty big mistake. I don't think about that enough when I blink forward. And I don't play Legion Commander very often, obviously, so I hadn't thought about that before, but that's super important. People can phase shift, they can BKB, they can do tons of stuff. Not that BKB really does very much versus me, but a lot of things that don't quite do right when I play this hero, and they add up to a lot. Obviously the biggest thing was my early ganks just kind of dying a lot, but next item I wanted to buy was Lincoln Sphere, partially because of having to deal with things like Doom the entire game, but even Eul Scepters and things like that are going to be pretty nice to evade. Eul's, Pudge ult, Lina ult, Lina Eul's, Doom. A lot of really good things to stop. So I felt like that was the best option for the next item. Most of the time when you're playing Legion, you just kind of transition your items into more and more semi-survivability, because you already have a lot of survivability just with your... I'm sorry, you already have a lot of damage just with your other skill. I really should have Blade Meld here, but... Lena's obviously here. Wow, he died fast. Slark's still kind of farming like crazy though, honestly. I'm surprised he has so much. Run as well as farming very rapidly. I feel kind of invincible at this point, even though I'm not. It's a little scary. I can still get doomed and stuff, and they do a lot of magic damage. My attack speed really doesn't feel that bad though, but I guess I do have Midas.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Maybe Lincoln's is not the right item build. Maybe I should go something like Assault Cuirass, that Slark's damage is mitigated. I think he probably went the typical build, and he went Silver Edge with a Scotty. Not too surprising, really. I really wanted to duel the Slark here. I remember this fight. They saw our Nyx here, but unfortunately he leapt past. And this gave them a lot of time to basically teleport. And then I got doomed, and I got arrowed too. So basically the reason we lost that fight, in my opinion, was because we didn't have a ward on the high ground. So we didn't really see them coming. What we needed to do was initiate by me dueling. Or the Nyx assassin needed to be invisible and just stun, which really should have happened because Nyx is 14. The duration of your ultimate now on Nyx is much higher. So if he just would have been invisible, he could have spotted the Slark out without Slark seeing him in return. So that was the vision issue that was down to the Nyx assassin, I feel. And maybe us not having a deep enough observer ward. But by losing that fight, it kind of put us drastically behind. Because we don't really have a lot of other people that are farming well. It's kind of all on my shoulders, really. Alright, so this is our base defense attempt.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
Got the Doom. That was good. Probably should have timed the Nyx stun with the vacuum. I think that's on Nyx more than it is the Darkseer by far. But that would have been good. Could have maybe killed 2 heroes instead of just 1. But either way, we held. That was really good. I was heading to the bot lane to set up for a gank or a farm, but turns out everybody was still here. Got another duel off on the Slark. That Scotty slow is so good. Not getting super blocked from everybody. Alright, Lincoln's finished. So a little bit lower chance of getting doomed. I think if I pretty much doom Slark, or if I duel Slark every single fight, then we'll win. That's what it seemed like. That's what it felt like at this point. Lincoln's is, as a whole, not a very good item. It's really expensive. The impact that it gives you is potentially huge, but against good players, they will react to it in most cases. Yeah, I should just rush here. Guy hit so hard, I might as well. Wanted the PA to come get the Aegis over me. Slark's still farming super well. I think he's just farming really efficiently is what's happening. Slark can farm quite fast using Dark Pact and stuff like that, and he gets from each camp faster because he runs so fast. Did they go off the map here? I felt like they bottom-ulted or something, I feel. So many heroes. They 5-man a lot. When they're 5-manning a lot, we basically have to spread them out on the map by pushing other lanes, wait till they separate, and that's when you go and get a kill again. So I would basically do that by pushing the bot lane, and I'd push it out to the tower, and you push the mid lane to the middle of the river, and you push the top lane out. When you do that, they feel pressure on the map, and then they spread out usually, because you can't necessarily 5-man to do that. Everybody sees farm at towers, and they're more willing to go back and go to those creeps to farm them than they are to spread their team out, basically. So it's a good way to get everybody to spread out a bit. I was quite surprised that he was willing to do that. Break his invis just to kill a ward. But I think he had a gem at this point. Yeah, he did. I should probably get to my team right now. Oh, and our barracks were taking damage. That was kind of weird. Alright, next item to build. Again, my items are a little bit weird. The Lincoln's is basically weird, everything else is standard. Normally, instead of Lincoln's, I would grab AC, probably. That was awful by me. I also shouldn't have dueled the Lina, I think. I should have just killed the Lina and then dueled the next person. Is what I should have done. Because Lina was going to die instantly anyways, and I was also really late to reacting to the Slark. I think my team saw him a lot earlier than I did. So I should have just immediately BKB'd and jumped on him with Blade Mail, because then I would have killed the Slark right at the start. He got his ulti off, and that could have lost us the fight. That was really bad play. Like, Legion's decision making has to be so fast, and her blink has to be really precise. Like, that's why they buffed her cast animation on press attack. They made it shorter. That way your opportunities to go in weren't as extended. You could get that attack speed buff and then initiate, and you could do it all 0.1 seconds faster, which was such a big buff for her. Maybe not such a big buff, but a very like a decent buff. Enough to give her like a 2% win increase, even with the bonus damage. So I thought that was nice. Either way, I did get the duel off on the Lina, which is still very good. But I think at this stage in the game, where you're doing full-blown teamfights, you shouldn't be using duel to get damage. You should be using duel to disable your opponents, and I probably did that too much. I definitely knew I could one-shot a courier here. And this meant that somebody had gold that they wanted to spend, but they weren't going to be able to do it for a bit. So when that happens, it's a really good thing to go try to push and take towers. Looks like we did use the Aegis on our Phantom Assassin. He has almost no items. Sunjin Yasha Basher with the Mask of Menace is really not much at 40 minutes. His net worth is pretty bad. But he doesn't have a lot of heroes that he can kill easily. Maybe the the Lina. He should really have a BKB, I feel. So I think I was buying the AC now, and I was selling my Midas to do it. I don't really like selling my Midas this early. It's only 38 minutes. I could have gotten a lot more value out of my Midas. But the problem is that I need item slots. Maybe what I should have done was put my Midas on Courier and picked it up every once in a while to Midas a creep. Something like that probably would have been a better move than what I opted to do. I felt like they might come to the left. I was trying to get the guy with the gem, which was the Nyx, to move, but he wasn't listening to me. I think he was waiting to become invisible. Maybe he was feeling scared for himself or something like that, but he probably shouldn't be. I think he spotted the Doom at this point, so we just needed... Oh, we got the Doom. Lost vision because the Nyx ran away. That was unfortunate. If we didn't lose the gem, we might have been able to kill somebody else. I also could have brought the AC to myself. Lincoln stopped the Dismember. That was good. My BKB stopped the arrow. But it's definitely not good to have somebody get doomed at the start of the fight, because if he didn't get doomed and I would have dueled first, it would have been way better. But I think they got vision of the Nyx or something. They must have had a gem themselves, maybe. Alright, drop the Midas. AC on the way.
Fresh mate.
I did not have TP here, unfortunately. Phase Boots only gets me so far. I kind of wish he would have ran to the right, because I would have been able to duel him then, but that would have been nice. A lot of heroes. This Scotty really hurt. This is not a good team fight. This is not a good fight. I don't think the PA should have fought here. It was a really bad choice by him. Yeah, really tough for me to deal with the Slark, actually. If I don't... Like, that's basically a fight example where if I don't get the duel off in time, I'm just screwed. What I should have done, probably, is I should cast Press the Attack first, just to interrupt Blink Daggers, and then I should initiate on people. Because they actually had 3 Blink Daggers. If they have 3 Blink Daggers... this is not the fight either. I don't know if we all died here, but yeah, it doesn't look like it. If they have 3 Blink Daggers, my goal should be to save them Blink Daggers and then blinking to duel. I didn't do that well. I didn't do that well at all in that fight. You can also buy Sanjin Yasha on Legion Commander. I think that item's pretty good. Increases your movement speed, allows you to chase people a bit faster. Because at this point, I'm pretty much just being slowed by the Scotty slow. But I think what really would have helped us here is maybe us having vision over our opponents. Because if I can see them, then I can blink from trees. I don't remember if we lost the Nyx here, doesn't look like it. Doesn't look very good. Oh, that was unfortunate. I think I actually showed right before I went. Luckily, the Nyx nuked right before that ended. That was really close. It's actually pretty amazing the difference between me casting Press the Attack on myself and not casting it. But it's also Scotty attacking me, I guess. It slows my attack speed by a little bit. So then we basically got double Rex at this point. I definitely should have ganked a lot better this game, but I want to say that my teammates didn't do very well, and they didn't. But my MMR was compensating for that, so I should have done a little bit better. But getting double racks like that is really rough, pretty much. I think that was mostly a vision issue. We basically team fought improperly, is the problem. Missing a lot of stats still. I can definitely farm aggressively at this point. With a couple of heroes dead, you definitely should feel comfortable to do that. Got a Lina mid. Lina has missed her spell. This is really awful as well. I basically tilted like twice in a row there. Dueling Pudge is just not the thing to do, especially because I didn't Blade Mill as well. That was really bad. At this point I was just super tilting. You cannot duel a Pudge, simply put. That was really nice done. Damn, that bottom lived. But I really shouldn't have died there. I shouldn't have dueled the Pudge. Has to be Lina, or it has to be Bottom. So it's done. Yeah, I don't remember this part going well. I don't know what he has right now. Yeah, he pretty much just has Scotty with a... Yeah, I saw the turnaround coming. I was like, he's gonna turn around, he's gonna kill him again. Luckily for me, he stayed too long. He was missing half of his HP. And my Blade Mail did work. This game basically made me realize that Legion is very, very initiation based. Like, there's a lot of scenarios where Legion is not good. Like, even if you're ahead, like, I'm super far, I guess I'm not super far ahead anymore, but I was quite ahead for a lot of those engagements, and it still requires you to get good duels off to become useful. If you're not getting good duels off, then you can't just control the game easily. It's not really straightforward like a Lina is, for example. Lina's like, oh, I'm going to use a guy, I'm going to combo him and he's going to die, and then I'm going to back up and throw stuns when I can. Legion's like, you need to cast your ulti perfectly, and your opponents need to not use their Ghost Scepters, their Blink Daggers, their Eul Scepters. It's basically like every single survivability item helps counter Legion Commander, so you have to cast your abilities correctly or you get screwed. At this point, bought BOTs, which could be seen as a mistake. I don't really have another item that I want to buy instead. The Blade Mill is too invaluable against the Slark, I think. At some point, I think I changed Blade Mill to MKB. I think we had a fight coming on here. I wanted to smoke everybody first. Got the duel off on the Doom, that was pretty good. That's a nice stun. Got so blocked. Team didn't really do a whole lot of the chase them thing. I feel like we could have gotten those guys, but... yeah, I didn't really feel comfortable chasing anymore after that one. Duel up in about 6. See, again, did I really need to do that? I could have dueled the Potom instead. Maybe killed him instead. Potom's quite fast. BOT's Manta, Drum. The guy has a lot of items, actually. I feel like that would have been the better pickup to go, or the better hero to guarantee the kill on. Although I probably would have had to BKB, because otherwise he... nah, I feel like he would have died anyways. Even if I mean, if he Euls me, for example, and I didn't have BKB up, I don't know if it would have mattered. I got a Blade Maul going here. Oh, that was Lucky. Still really survivable though. It's not bad. BOTs helps a little bit as well. A little bit of extra movement speed. I think at this point I did sell Blade Mill. Looks like I was thinking about it. But I definitely have to build MKB next so that I can deal with the evasion. I kind of want to get a Daedalus instead, really. I mean, I do so much damage that if I crit, it would do like a stupid amount of survivability. Like, people would just die. Oh wow, he's just stealing Roshan. Good, nice solo kill on the Doombringer. Slark solo steals Roshan. If I just didn't have those like 2 throws in the mid game and we didn't take that one team fight and lose like a double racks, we would have been in such a good place. I wanted to fight the Slark here, but I didn't have my ult. This is really unfortunate that he got away. He really should have died there, I feel. I think we needed the gust on the draw ranger to hit. If the gust would have hit, then we would have had a kill, I think. Do I have a pudge kill? That damage. Barely got that. I think the maximum you can have on duel is somewhere around 400. I might be wrong on that. So Blade Mail's gone now. A little bit less damage to some heroes. But considering we got double racks really early on this game, this is okay. RPA's finally like top farming. Maybe not top farming, but... Oh, those Slark's Aegis. Yeah, I didn't feel comfortable like staying for the next fight here. There was a high chance he went on me if I stayed up there and farmed for him. Man, like, there's so many things that just make duel hard to land. All I used to do is press leap and it's gone. Shit's rough, man. You know, I'm kind of glad I didn't duel him there.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
This is really dangerous.
Dire's structures are fortified.
If I had MKB here,
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
if I had MKB there, I think I would have killed him. But if I had MKB there, then I wouldn't have had buyback. So I think that's why I didn't buy it. Yeah, if I had MKB, I think he would have died, for sure.
Dire's middle tower is fallen.
Got some movement speed increase, that's cool, but... I just had so many issues chasing people. Like, ideally what I would have is not a Lincoln's. I really needed a Basher or something. This looked really bad.
I won't stop until the job is done.
Oh, I should have pressed the attack Piglet there. That was a huge mistake. And again, I initiate, nothing comes from it. Yeah. I messed up a lot of fights here.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
I really needed a Basher, honestly. I think the Lincoln's was a mistake. I feel like going Abyssal Blade instead would have been a much better item build. Gives me Bash chance. I guess it limits the amount that my opponent can attack me when I'm dueling them, but the bonus smash damage and the bonus stun damage would have been good, because then I could have blink stunned somebody with Abyssal, hit him for like 2 seconds, and then dueled them. That would have been so much better. Because then you like need something else to disable. It's like super important. I think I learned that really well this game, because I was playing relatively okay with my initiations, but consistently they would press their ultimates, or they leap away, or they would jump away, or they'd use duels on me. There's a lot of things that they did to make it difficult for me to get duels off. So I think after playing this game, you definitely have to go either a Basher or an Abyssal. Basher and Abyssal at some point, especially if you're rich, like I was this game. The Lincolns did some stuff for me this game, but it really didn't do that much. Gave me HP and mana regen, that's cool, I guess. Like, again, same thing. I could have simply, if I had Abyssal there, I could have just blink Abyssal. Like, that was a kill that should have happened right there. I felt like I was getting run around the entire game this game. At least late game. This looked like a really good fight to me, I feel. Oh, we got really lucky on that kill. This is basically the Nyx happened to stun the place that the guy just showed up for. This is again the moment that we realized that the bottom was ridiculously fast. BOT's drum in.
Dire's Ancient is under attack.
I did that to stop the blink.
Dire's Ancient is under attack.
Probably should have covered Jarhead a little bit more. And I also should have been debuffing the arrow stuns and things like that. Oh nice, I actually got Marana. That's good. So now I'm about at the point where I'm looking at a... I guess I could have dropped my BKB as well. I don't think that would have been a terrible decision. Drop BKB since I already have Lincolns, and then I could have... Not that it stops like a lot of the stuns or anything, but... Drop BKB, pick up... I think that would be better than selling Lincolns. Drop BKB and then pick up a Abyssal Blade. Or Scotty. I think both items would work. Scotty's probably better though. But they had a lot of dead heroes at this point, so I felt pretty comfortable pushing out. Yeah, I guess I walked all the way down here because I wanted to push out the lane. Maybe it wasn't super efficient for farming. And I also waited here a long time to see if I could get a kill. This is decent to do. I probably should have killed the small camp though. I was a little bit worried about Slark just like showing up here. But I figured that if I waited long enough, eventually somebody would show up. And there I finally got somebody. But then I didn't end up getting close enough, so... Lost my chance. Got the kill though. That was good. Probably should have BKB'd first. Still I'm defending though, that was good.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's Ancient is under attack.
So ultimately we lost. I think what really needed to happen was we needed our our Phantom Assassin to come online a lot earlier. I think that would have made a big difference. I needed to be a little bit better with some of my ganks. My early game could have been way better, and if I would have basically went undefeated early game, like not died at all or something like that, it would have pushed me from having like a monstrous, like a really good mid game to having like a monstrous mid game where they really couldn't do anything. And I could have gotten my items a little bit faster, and maybe I wouldn't have had to go Lincolns. I just could have grabbed a damage item instead and felt comfortable with that. I mean, either way, I should have known that going Lincolns was not the right option. That a Basher was going to be the more important thing. so that I could better chase people. Because they're all just so fast, their movement speed was just really high, and we didn't have very good disables. We had like Vacuum, we had a Draw Ranger, we had a Nyx Assassin who has stuns, but Phantom Assassin had Basher. I guess that's about it. Like, we needed like Rod of Atos or something in a lot of cases. Everybody just kept getting away so fast. And Sark really didn't have that much. Like, he only had a Scotty, a Butterfly, and a Silver Edge. That's like 3 items. I had like 5 really good items. 4 really good items, I guess you could say. 4.5, 5. I don't know. I really didn't want to lose this game, but we lost it. So that was a little tough, but it's alright. There's definitely a lot that I learned about this. Blink stuff, jungling. My jungling got a little better this game, even though you shouldn't do it. And a couple other things as well. My itemization could have been slightly better. I really just needed to skip the Lincolns and go for an Abyssal. If I would have had Abyssal that early, I would have had a bonus 85 damage. I would have been stunning for 2 seconds as I initiated, and then BKB'd, and then dueling them. And I would have continued to crush fights. I would have basically continuously just dueled heroes and killing one person at the start of every single fight. Should have gone a lot better for us, but it didn't. Anyways, that's it. If you guys are wondering, I'm at ESO 1 New York right now, and you guys should be able to tune into that. If you're in New York, you can come show up, or if you live in Jersey or somewhere close by, I think it's at Madison Square Gardens, so come tune into that. Alright, thanks everyone for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.